everybody. Welcome to the Robinhood Capitalists. I'm your host, DJ Flores, and with me, as always, my coach and yours, Coach Stacy B.
What's
Coach,
up?
what's going on, man? So this has been crazy. I feel like I haven't seen you forever, guys. We even started late. Listen. I'm one to fully just pull the rug out of everything. I hold no. There's nothing hidden from here. So we got to catch up a lot before getting on here, but still want to get caught up more with Coach. Obviously, we didn't get to, and these next few weeks, guys, we do apologize. It's going to be rocky. The schedule with holidays and different things, you all know how that goes.
Yeah,
So
well,
we do.
between that and our typical tech issues like Tuesday, so
Oh my goodness, right? We would have been live. Yes,
yeah, we
yes,
would have been
guys.
live.
We would have been live Tuesday, but we had some technical difficulties, unfortunately. And so you all might know how that goes too. But we are here now. And so we did want to catch up. We want to kind of give you guys a little kind of what's going on behind the scenes, why we've been crazy, why we have been MIA for now almost 2 weeks, and just what's next. So, Coach, I guess, really anything before we get this going?
Let's kick off the song, and then we can talk about it afterwards. I think that's a good plan.
Yes, let's do it.
I love our intro music.
You get one heartbeat song. Take it seriously. This is your masterpiece. Don't forget to dream and taste the colors in the air you breathe. It's your masterpiece. Go ahead and feel it all. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful.
All
Of
right,
all the
everybody.
things you brought to the show, that those lyrics may be the best. That's exactly what we're all about. That's so cool.
Thank you. I agree, and I'm glad you like it as much as I do, because that's honestly it was those lines, and I was like, we talked about it before I used it, and I was like, listen, we might get in trouble for using this music, but again, he's not a big record label guy, so he probably doesn't have all the lawyers and hawks out there trying to nickel and dime everybody like everybody else. Fingers crossed. Andy Grammer, we love you.
We
We
love
do.
you.
We really do. But yeah, and so those words, I think that's what life is all about. That's what gets me excited. That's why one of my five, well, really four, but five, because it's always on there. Fresh 24. That's why it's one of my things I'm most grateful for every morning. Is I feel like every day, regardless of what happened the day before, we can really make this day something totally different. And really, in one day, uh, it can change your life. I mean, you hear those stories all the time. I believe it.
Yep,
I've seen
yep.
it.
One moment in time.
Yeah. And so, Coach, man, it's been a little while. I'm glad we are able to finally, no technical difficulties. I got wood, yo. Again, fingers crossed, but everything looks smooth right now. Connections look good. Stream looks good, and I'm glad we're able to get back on. So, how have you been since we haven't been able to get? What have you been busy with? I know you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, there's always a lot of things in the coaching world that keeps me busy, but a lot of family stuff too. So it's been good, and you got the holiday coming up, so little work around the farm to get a few places to sit in a deer stand for a little bit of the time next week. So uh, some work, some. I filled in one Sunday for the preacher at church, so there's a little, a little bit of everything happening in my
Wow,
world.
that's awesome! Wow, how did that go? That has to be fun. Is it fun?
Anytime. Well, this is probably too much of an ego coming out. But anytime I'm on stage, I do enjoy it, and even, but I get more nervous when I'm doing something from the pulpit than from a normal stage. So that's a little more nerve wracking because you got it's got to be a little different. It's got to carry a little more weight. There's a couple of sleepless nights leading up to that, but it was good. And the folks I went on the mission with back in the summertime. So I'm now on the board of directors for that organization, Romanian American Missions. So there's been some good stuff happening.
Nice. Well, that is exciting, and obviously we got some exciting things going on with the media thing and coaching.
No,
We got
well, before you get too deep, I mean, everywhere you go, you're meeting people and setting up new connections for us and for the marketing business and everything else. So what about you? What's been up?
Man, it's honestly it's been crazy. So first, I want to give a prop and shout out to so the Painter Inc. So started doing some sales and helping them with some marketing and growth. But as you can see, exciting for me that they got and are working with the 10X and Grant Cardone training system. But it's really like a breath of fresh air to see a company, small family-owned company. We're actually going to have Gabriel on soon, so as a guest to give more of a background. So I won't spend too much time talking about it, but really, they're just really fully immersed and all in. And I like to say, I mean, I don't be casual. Like you got to be all in or all out, and they really did. They're all in, and it's. I mean, even to the point his kids are on the. My chair keeps falling. I'm having technical difficulties with my chair. Um, but even to the point his kids are on the calls and doing the trainings. He has his HR to his front office. I mean,
How old
they're
are the kids?
so I want to say I don't know the age. So if you're watching, I'm sorry. But I would guess maybe 12 and 14, 12 and
Yeah.
15.
I was just looking for a range because if I said my kids were on it, that wouldn't mean as much when they're 30 and 26.
Yeah. No, yeah. This is teenagers more than likely. But and they're really just involved in the business to see the whole family involved. Gabriel's wife and just the whole team. And they got the culture, they have the reputation, they did everything right. So it's exciting to like see that they're now really investing, Gabriel, and we talk about it. We talk about with coaching, with what you do and getting involved in. I mean, he's fully invested in all in. And again, anybody who knows, I don't know what the cost is, and I know there's different ranges of programs you could go, but Grant Cardone, I mean, he is. You know who he is. Everybody knows who he is. So, like literally, that means that comes with a price. And so, I mean, they are fully invested, but it's exciting to see that he's invested not in just the sales team, not in just the leadership team. I mean, he's invested in the whole team. It's from the top down, and I think if you want to grow a company, I mean, that's what we've seen. Everybody so far, the amazing guest, that's seems to be the repetitive kind of thing is investing in their team,
Yeah.
investing in culture, investing in building more, and that's what they're doing. So
Yeah.
exciting to be a part of that and see that.
Yeah,
And then
and
obviously,
for anybody watching that is building your team and building your business or you're thinking of starting, these are really good lessons. And I've spent a lot of years in training. I've had decades in training myself, and well, not training myself, but I myself have been leading training departments and things. But when you do something like this, you're right. If you have one foot in and one foot out, if management and leadership isn't committed, it doesn't stick. And so the challenge that they'll face, and I hope they're aware and ready to handle this one, is they're going to see this initial boost of excitement because it's new, it's different, they're learning new things, and that's always a lot of fun. There'll probably be a little boost in their performance. And if they're not careful, it'll level right back down and they'll get right back in the same rut. So they have to stick to this and follow the process to the end. And then you start all over again with the next process. It's a never ending thing.
never,
But
they
but
got to
it,
play
it, it's
the
an
they got to play
investment.
the infinite game in the end, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they have to play it as the infinite game. Simon Sinek, there's no better explanation for what business and life truly is except an infinite game, and you should always be just improving yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, well, and great leaders, what they focus on is not systems and processes. Leadership is about people and
yeah.
developing people and developing other leaders, and programs like this and like the ones that you and I are talking about offering at the start of the year. Those are the things that matter. That can really help a company out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's showing, and their goals are big, and that's exciting to see too. Again, I'm one of my three non-negotiables. The number three, grand ambition. I mean, for me to really have you around in my circle for long, you got to be a crazy dreamer like me. Otherwise, you're
We
probably gonna
believe.
you're gonna be scared. You're gonna be scared. I'm gonna scare you. I'm sorry. But yeah, so exciting to see that. And then obviously we have some other fun things going on. I mean, we have the Fish and Pig here local.
Yeah, all
Might
right.
be
So if you're looking for barbecue in Norfolk, Virginia, my buddy Tom Fox, he owns the Fish and Pig, combination barbecue seafood restaurant, as you may guess from those two things put together. But yeah, we've talked to him about maybe doing a live one of our shows from inside the pig, which would be a lot of fun. So we're working to put that together and spend some time with old Foxy. That'll be fun. He's a huge Michigan fan, so I don't know if we can get along too well with him or not. But we might have to say "Go Blue" in order
did you
to sit in there with him.
speaking of Michigan, we'll have to ask him, or you'll have to ask him next time you talk. Did you see the bet? I don't know if it was real or not, but the bet Tom Brady made with CJ Stroud about if Michigan beats or if Ohio State beats Michigan, he'll give CJ one of his Super Bowl rings, and
I did
or,
not see that.
or something. And again, I think it was a joke, but it's funny to see them kind of going back and forth.
Well, my son-in-law is a huge Ohio State fan. Obviously, I'm North Carolina State, and JMU, who's fighting the NCAA right now, was an undefeated team. But my two teams there are not quite on the level of Ohio State, Michigan.
No, no, yeah, that's and I'll tell you, yeah, although I wear Cleveland all the time, being from Cleveland and not Columbus, it's a weird like division, and was never really big into college football and college sports to begin with, so I never really followed Ohio State, so I was never a diehard Ohio State fan like everybody else. So I actually, again, being the different odd one, I fell in love with, oddly enough, around the national championship time when Ohio State was playing LSU, and Ted Ginn Jr. runs back that first. I'll never forget it. Everybody's excited. I'm like, yeah, whatever, and because I feel like college. I think the thing I don't like about college, uh, I'm gonna just I might lose a lot of people who like me right now. But I think the thing that I don't like about college is I feel like some teams it doesn't make sense that you need to beat them by 50 or 60 to like even prove something. Like, why aren't we just playing the same level? It's almost like playing like high school kids, and that doesn't even make sense. So I don't understand that, I guess. And that is what it always seemed like Ohio State kind of lined up against. Now, obviously, Big Ten has drastically changed. So they have brought in a
The
lot
whole
of.
landscape has changed.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness, yeah, it's
the
totally
age of the
changing.
super conferences.
Yeah, right. I mean, even Washington, where my daughter's at. Shout out Abby, but uh, cheerleading for Washington, I mean, they might make the playoffs. There really is a great chance they make the playoffs, but they're entering the Big Ten
In
next
a
year,
conference that's not even going to exist next year.
right? Right?
It's so crazy.
It's crazy. Oh, it is crazy. But obviously, we went totally off subject with
Yeah,
college
all because
football.
Tom Fox is a Michigan fan.
Yeah, darn you, Tom. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, but yeah, so that's exciting, and I can't wait. Obviously, I love seafood and barbecue, so great combination, Tom. You won me over there. So can't wait to do the live there. But really speaking of like coming guests and big things coming besides that, we have and I did end up finding their logo. I really wanted this thing's exciting. Can't wait to have them on. But Steph.io,
That
guys, if
is
you
so cool.
oh my goodness, it like if you guys are into telemedicine, telehealth, Dr. Steve, shout out Dr. Steve. But this is revolutionary, and it's literally a wireless plug and play, not wireless, but a wired plug and play stethoscope that plugs into any cell phone, and now your doctor can have a stethoscope right on you wirelessly and see everything. It's next level. It's amazing.
And
It's crazy.
somehow or another, the inventors saw us and reached out. That's amazing.
Right. Well, I got to give props to Jess. So Jess Korg, shout out to you, Jess. But amazing friend, and he actually is on the board of them. So I think he probably had a little something to do with that. But it is amazing. This product, I can't wait to have the doctor on. The doctor was amazing to talk to and just hear kind of why they're doing it and what their vision is with Steth.io. I mean, it's gonna blow you guys away. I I can't believe it. I think
Yeah,
it's
well,
awesome.
and so many of the entrepreneurs we talk to have been in franchising and other things. It just, I think talking to an inventor is going to be a little different too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And speaking of, um, and we're really just and I gotta shout out to
Yeah,
Mags.
go, go
She,
Abby.
she's right. We are now Washington fans. Go. I their quarterback. Obviously, he won me over too. He's a lefty. So shout out to you, fellow lefties. We're in our right minds. But it's crazy to see a quarterback that's a lefty because there's not too many. So it's kind of cool to see. Uh, but and then so you talked about though inventors, and so crazy story with that. But got to give a shout out to Uncle Billy and so Mags. I was just on, but so Maggie's uncle, uh, been in the engineering. So he's electrical engineer, super amazingly smart guy, and humbled that he reached out and he wants us to really kind of help him be the platform to share what he has coming out, which his new company is called Portal Techs, and it's really revolutionizing electrical for your houses or even commercial. It's basically the easiest way is it's a plug and play, full, simply connected electrical unit for your whole house that you can then just plug and play the different switches and adapters as needed. It's insane. It's next level. And it's patent pending, and we're excited to have them on. So we will have his partner ABAC on soon. We're actually working out the details with that and some other things, but
So
I can't.
two companies, two inventors, two ideas, companies that are kind of starting from the ground up. This is for our target audience. This is the real deal. This is going to be fun.
They get to, yeah, and they get to see. And again, we're gonna hopefully have them on, and hopefully they'll enjoy the first time coming on with us. That they'll want to keep coming back on and keep you all updated. But yeah, I mean, these are some big things, some really revolutionizing things. I mean, the outlet and switches have been just the switch for a long time. Like to literally be able to, and then just I can't wait to have ABAC really go into it. But the tech and the next level that they're able to add then and incorporate with that is insane, insane.
What a world we live in.
Right, and it's technology, and that's really, I think, I kind of asked Uncle Billy. I said, hey, you know they've always had the same for a long time. Why haven't they changed it? Why do you think you're changing it out? He said, well, tech is just always changing, so how could you even keep up with those things uh in any other way unless you be changed it to something like this so that you can now incorporate that tech in different levels. And I mean, it really is with technology and AI and just this world we're living in. I mean, it really is now a world of, like Gary Vee says, it's day trading attention. Us doing this podcast. I mean, right now, it's there's so many other podcasts and different avenues that a lot of people have to go out there and listen to things, and that's. I don't know about you, Coach. Do you? So I don't even. We actually just recently stopped even like a regular TV, like we don't have any programming, like TV programming. We just it's YouTube or like some that stuff. But we don't even like have really regular TV. Do you guys still? Are you into podcast or anything like that?
Well, obviously, lots of podcasts and YouTube is. I spend more time than I should there, and some other things, but we do still have a cable package because the deal with it wrapped into the internet out here.
Ah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
not as many options out here where I am either,
True, true,
and
true.
so as of right now, the package seems better. But we were just talking last night about just checking one more time to see if there's because
Yeah, we just
I would rather cut the cord and just go to the streaming services because we're paying for a lot of that stuff anyway.
yeah, and it's so crazy. We just find ourselves that we're more wanting to get that real again. What the world's what we have now. I mean, there's so many
Yeah,
avenues to really just be able to experience other people's journeys, other people's processes, and
yeah.
that's why I'm so glad to
My
have
son
this.
and daughter-in-law, they haven't had regular TV in years. They're have been exclusively YouTube, and
Ah, good.
now they finally went to the actual YouTube TV instead of just the regular YouTube.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what we had. We had that. We actually just we got rid of that. But yeah, YouTube TV is amazing. We had that for
yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, the whole thing, it just seems kind of weird. Because for a while it was, you would stream here or stream there, and you get some very specific programming. But now they're bundling everything. It's just like you're back to cable all over again, and the prices have gone to where it's not that different anyway. So every time I think about getting away from the cable company, it's like, well, I don't really see the benefit like it used to be. But
Coach,
maybe I'll learn something
you're
different.
always connecting dots. You're leading right to. That's what I think we have to realize. Like we can only reinvent things so many times, and then it's just improving them. We can't really change the way something, but everybody wants to change, and I think that's what I love about franchising. Honestly, is there's no change needed. Like it's literally, hey, this system works. This is what it produces. If you follow these steps, just follow the steps. Like it's I mean it
Yeah.
really is in the right system. It really is that easy though, right? I mean that's at Liberty. You guys, I mean the growth you had, the things you guys did, it was insane.
Yeah, and you still have to continue to change, but you kind of do it together as a system. And what you get is the economies of scale. When you got a few thousand locations, you can say, okay, let's test this in these four markets before we go make everybody do it, right? So you get
Yeah,
some benefits. But the great thing is the good ideas come from the folks that are facing the clients. So the franchisees are feeding you the good stuff, and then you just test it and either implement it or not. So a good system is always changing, but the great thing is you're not the one as the entrepreneur having to figure out what to change. You're not
mm,
the one having to put forth all of the money that it takes to test it and do the A/B testing and all the different things that you do. You contribute obviously through royalties and everything else to that, but if you had to do it on your own, it would be virtually impossible. And that's a big advantage of a franchise, a good franchise system versus trying to do it on your own.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's insane. Yeah, the advantages. Yeah, the advantages is just crazy. It's same advantages of just reading somebody's book and learning from their experience. I mean, again, some of these books. I mean, the right ones, the right. Alex Hormozy. I mean, shout out. I know I talk about him a lot, but it's amazing the free content that he will give out to really help you if you're just willing to go search it. And uh, and I guess I led somewhere good there too. But really, it's searching that you have to do. And if you're not out there searching, you're never gonna find it. And I have a video that I wanted to share, and I guess we could kind of go there. But during this whole past week and a half, again, my layoff has been went to go visit family back home. It's been a little bit, so we got to go back to Ohio and celebrate my niece's baby shower, and then celebrate our two youngest ones, Cooper and Oakley's birthday parties together with the family and friends there in Ohio. And we got to go to Michigan for a little bit to see my parents' new house. So it was a fun, quick trip. But so that's why we had obviously missed, and why I had missed that week of our shows last week. But besides that, it's um, I forget where I was even going to go with that, honestly. But
Well, we were talking
But
about
I
the
know the video. I do have the video coming. But
yeah, and before that, we were just kind of you were kind of talking about the beauty of having that system and
mm,
the ability to find books and the knowledge that's out there. The what's the old thing that they say? It's like if all you needed to know was how, then we'd all be rich and skinny because everybody knows how. It's just the act of doing it. The information's out there. If you want to improve on public speaking and the greatest speeches ever been delivered, they're all out there. The greatest speakers, all you have to do is go dig in and put in the effort and determine what you want to do. So you're right. It's a crazy time that we live in because there's so much information at our fingertips. And what gets me down is I get I just get bogged down in so much. I find so many things interesting and it's hard to transition from that point of learning and gathering and enjoying the content and then actually putting it to use. But
yeah.
that's where it matters is actually putting that stuff to use because there's plenty of how out there. We just have to
So
do it.
much. Yeah, yeah. And I think you nailed it with what you said though. It's really just getting hyper focused on what is that skill? What is that one thing? What is that either skill or that lesson, that license, that whatever it might be? What is missing? There's
And
always just that
even before that,
something.
what is your real purpose in life? Once you can figure out what your true purpose is, and then you start living and growing into that, that's when happiness can follow. That's when we can create that heaven on earth. Is once we get people living into their purpose. So quit worrying about the how and spend a little more time on the why and the purpose, and then work from there.
Ah, well, coach, you're so good at this. So he's leading right to purpose. And honestly, purpose for me is kids. I have 5 kids. I would probably, if I could afford it, I'd have 30. And if Maggie thought that was just a good idea. But obviously, today's world, it's impossible to have two for most families, and a lot of things. But it's kids are what I think everybody's purpose is. Whether it's, and I feel like whether it's somebody who's had kids or didn't have kids, I've always had throughout my journey in life. If it wasn't my parents, there was always some role there, a coach, a manager, somebody that took that dad role, that parenting role, that mom role, that different role. I mean, I've had lots of work moms. Shout out to all you work moms out there that you guys have saved me lots. But really, it's we have those people around us that are caring, and I think that's what I mean by the purpose of kids. Like we should always be looking to want to help those around us, I guess, and have that kid inside. And I think it's that kid feeling inside that you always want to see and just help. Like there's nothing else. It's just,
Well,
oh, I see this and I can help. I'm gonna go help.
it takes a little bit of a kid like personality to wear a shirt that says "believe" and actually believe. So, so, so that I think you're living kind of what you're trying to say there.
It sure does. And so let's show this video and then we'll kind of get into. But the reason, honestly, behind this whole winded thing and was hopefully we get some good shorts out of there. So for all you marketing people, it's kind of what a little bit that was. But also, I think why I want to show this video is going through Grant's training, and we talked about it pre-show, but there's I, Gary V, I think, nails it better than anybody else. And it's marketing. Sales is just bad marketing. Like if you have to sell, so you have to influence or kind of push somebody over the edge a little bit, which again, that's a fine line that I like to that we'll get deeper into. But uh, Gary V said if you can market it and give them all the values and get them to believe in it, Apple, again, Simon Sinek likes to share this story a lot in a lot of his talks. He worked for Apple and he worked for the high ups at Microsoft. Microsoft gave him a Zune. He shares the story all over. I'm sure people have heard it. But Microsoft was focused on beating other people the whole time. The majority of their focus was other people. Apple, he said, was on their people and how to make it better for their community, for their people, for their customer, for their and when you can switch it that way and you can truly believe that and feel that, that is actually selling. That's real selling. And that's where Grant's way, shout out Grant, obviously, mad props, love you for what you do, but uh, it's hardcore, I think, in some ways, and it goes to where hard end closing, uh, focus closing, where you have to do a lot of closing at the end. And I think if you do the sales process the right way, like marketing does, and you use some of those kid feelings and beliefs, you can kind of close that sale without ever having to truly close. But I want to
Well,
share this.
and I'm all about the relationship model. So building the relationship and identifying properly the need that you're trying to fill is should be about 70%. The close should be like maybe 10% of your ability to get a contract or not get a contract.
Yeah, amen, amen. And I want to share this video, and then we're kind of break this down. But I really think for any of you new business owners out there, startups out there, anybody who's started a business and you're like, I can't find customers. Where are my customers? If you can understand this video and you can figure out this video, your customers are a lot closer than you think. But I'll get into that here in a sec.
Now, here's the best human virtue for finding out: curiosity. Make a note of that. Curiosity. Be curious. You might add a word to it that'll help. Childish curiosity. What will kids do if they want to know something bad enough? Bug you. That's the phrase. They can ask 1,000 questions. You think they're through? They got another 1,000. They'll drive you to the brink. It's a virtue. When you gotta know, be like a child. In fact, Jesus, the master teacher, said, unless you can become like little children, you might as well forget it. You don't have a prayer. Excellent advice. You gotta be like children. 4 ways, in my opinion, to be like a child. Number 1 is curiosity, and number 2 is excitement. Get excited like a child over your ability to make yourself do anything for change. 3rd is faith. Have faith like a child. Adults are too skeptical. And 4th is trust. Trust is a childish virtue, but the rewards are incredible. So be like a child.
Man, so that for me, along with when I got to meet Andy Paul and his amazing book, Sell Without Selling Out, really connected a lot of the dots of why me, somebody very introverted, not again, I'm very much like you, Coach, go to a networking thing, and I still have to really force myself to want to go to talk to people, because I would rather like hide in the corner and maybe just mix into other people's conversations. So I'm not like that outgoing, that overly confident person. There are those people, and shout out to you, like Grant Cardone. I think he's one of them. I think that's what guides one way versus the other of kind of your approach in selling. But the reason I love that video, and even just that point of that video, for all that don't know, that's the great Jim Rohn. Amazing. His voice, he was AI before AI existed. I love his voice. I've been obsessed with his voice. Anytime I hear it, I stop, and instantly I start listening.
It's definitely one you can identify right off the bat whenever you hear it.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And so, and just his philosophies, his ideas, and just with that, a very basic philosophy that I think most of us lose. And we have to realize that there's nobody to blame. We can't blame anybody. We just have to get it back, is what it is. When we're kids, like he says, I say anytime I've trained anybody with sales, I learned from my kids. They're the greatest salespeople ever. They will not stop. Like he said in the video, they're going to, and now again, are you making the sale, or are you trying to get them to give you what you want only for you? Well, now as a kid you can, but as an adult you know better, and that's the difference with a sale. So do you really believe in your heart? And that's the one thing recently. Again, why this video? I wanted to share this video and kind of get into the nuts and bolts of selling with new business owners. It's more just a transfer of truly believing completely in your product, your service, whatever you have to offer somebody else is really, with everything you've heard, with everything you've seen, and you have to ask the questions to find out if everything you've heard and seen checks all those boxes just as if you were buying something yourself. And if it does, then you should never feel bad about making the sale. And that is where closing, where understanding the little fine things of what to say and when to say it. I think that's that thin line of either influencing or convincing or persuading. And I think there's a sharp tone to and difference. Although they sound very similar, I think they're hugely different. And I think it really just comes down to, in the end, belief in your product, and I think or service. And if you believe it enough, and again, why belief? And you said it, the shirt. Why the shirt's so big to me? Glenn Stearns, uh, undercover billionaire. Shout out to, and Grant Cardone was on the second one. So, but Undercover Billionaire, amazing show. But Glenn Stearns, the first one, really connected a lot of dots to me of my belief and why I had so many jobs or fell in love with so many things or products or services in the beginning, because they romanticize or sold you, and then you've seen the truth. And it's hard, and that's where I think a lot of companies, there's somewhere that you're not being true, or you're not really going above and beyond like you're saying. And so if you lose that, your team loses that. And it all has to start at the top. And Glenn Stearns was the greatest example of that. Everybody believed enough in him and what he was saying and his vision that they were risking, I mean, working without getting paid. How many managers, startups, owners can't afford to pay somebody right now? He couldn't afford to pay somebody right now, but he believed enough. And that's what I think it was. That, to me, that's what I think it was, the difference. It was believing. He believed enough that this can happen, and he made it happen.
Yeah, so you have to back that belief up with definitive action, intentional action, and have that plan to follow. And it's another thing that kind of holds us up. We believe, and then we start to think about the plan, and it's like, oh, and so the belief goes away because I don't know what the plan is. The key to all of this is to understand that step one is the important step. It may be right, it may be wrong, it doesn't matter, but just step. And moving in the
Yes.
direction of your dream. And it's not always going to be a straight line path. And so the hard part is maintaining your belief as you're trying to figure it out. And so that's why he goes to childlike, because like you said, they're going to be nonstop. They believe they can get you to say yes no matter what. Uh, and we
and
have to take.
and they believe so, they're so believe in their conviction so much that they need whatever it is that they're asking you for, that it's life or death. And again, it seems so trivial to people, but that really is the difference uh, of how to get customers, or how to get somebody to buy into your product, your company, your vision, your whatever. I mean, you really have to believe that what you have is making a difference and going to make a difference. Otherwise, why does anybody want it?
Right.
What? What?
No, you're right on. I was just saying right on. I wasn't interrupting at all.
No, no, you're good. No, you're good.
It's, but because we've talked a lot about Napoleon Hill together, since we've known one another, and he talks a lot about definitive purpose, knowing exactly what you want, taking the steps. But he also talks a lot about the faith, the belief that it can happen, and it comes along with chapter 9 in Think and Grow Rich of persistence. because
Yep.
you have to have that backing of persistence that goes along with the faith, because there are going to be ups and downs and good and bad, and you're going to have to persist. And so I tell you what, I started something here very recently. It was something I did a long time ago. I was challenged to take that chapter on persistence and read it every day for 30 days, and if you miss a day, you have to start over. It's got to be 30 days in a row that you read that chapter on persistence
Okay.
to help you build the will and the persistence to go forward. So I just recently started that again because I felt like I was starting to vary in my course, and so pretty much right before I got on here, I was going through the chapter 9 on persistence. But without the belief, without the definitive action, but most importantly, without the definite purpose, you've got to know what it is you're after. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and there has to that purpose has to align with the belief, but in why you're doing it, or what the greater. I mean, the greatest companies out there, they weren't just selling a product or a thing. It was more than that, and that's why they're, Harley Davidson is. I mean, people bleed Harley Davidson. Like, there's no doubt you're either a Harley person or not. Like, it's one of those things, and I think that's where we need more of that. It has to be more like there's no more in between. Like, either this is right, this is wrong. Stand up, don't stand up. But like, be totally to what you believe, and that's again, I think Harley people are that way. Apple people are that way, again. But that's why Simon Sinek, I think, talks about those products like he does and those companies like he does, because they were more than just uh, their their beginning solution, but there were all the solutions after too.
So one of our Liberty conventions back, we took over Virginia Beach. It was a couple of thousand folks in the convention center. The CEO of Harley was the keynote, and it was a really good speech. But the most memorable thing of all was the people. It was two things. So I should say the most memorable thing was a lighted pathway going up to the stage, and him riding the Harley through the crowd to get up to the stage. That was really cool. But the other memorable thing was just how many people had tattoos, permanent Harley advertising on their bodies, and how really bought in they are. It
Right.
really is. It's a culture, man. It's something
There's
different.
company. Think about that, Coach. But think about that. Well, you just nailed that. And I think, if people can get this, if you're especially if you're a startup, you're starting something new, and you really want to change you really believe what you have can change the world, like Harley, like Apple, like these products have done and made their mark. You nailed it with that. That you have to have the vision from the start and bleed it all the way through. Uh, and think about what you said, though. These people, there's companies out there that will pay people to put stickers on their cars and vehicles. And Harley has people that they're not paying anything, and they gladly will
They're
have
paying them.
stickers all over their vehicles and tattoos and everything else. That's next level. That
Well,
is,
and both of those companies you named, Harley and Apple, both went down to the point of almost going out of existence, and both were revived by visionary leadership.
yep,
So
yep.
again, it's not a straight line path. It's finding that purpose, finding that vision, and then the belief, the persistence, the faith, all of those things from there.
But yeah, that I think y'all, if anybody could get any message from this, it's really just remember your inner kid. Remember whatever that kid like that you were. Were you the scared kid? Well, that could be part of what's holding you back from taking that next risk, or starting that business, or whatever it might be. Were you the over what again? The personalities giants. There's lots of personality tests out there. I think they all do it justice. With there's you know where you fall, and anybody who's listening to stuff like this, you probably already know kind of who you are or where you fall. Um, but play back to that kid like. What were you a kid like? Because a lot of your strengths came from that. A lot of your weaknesses are definitely coming from that too. And if you can really focus on that, I mean, that was really what helped me with sales. I mean, I was scared to death to ask to go to the bathroom because the teacher was so, you either go at this time or you're not allowed to go. And a few accidents and problems later, I was scared to death to ask, because I was honestly, I'm one of those types that you just have to raise your tone a certain level and you're going to get my attention. Now it's changed a little bit to an instant fight attention, but before it was an instant scare attention. And it was just my natural, and I had to, but sales really has helped me get through that. It was having to force myself through really hard things. I mean, being in sales, if you're not an overpowering and a very, you have to have a certain confidence. I mean, that's why guys like Grant Cardone and those people were usually the top salespeople in any organization. And anybody watching this, I mean, it's they have, the top guys do usually have just like this little bit of extra confidence, almost like prima donna wide receivers in the NFL. They, they have this they have this little bit of an extra edge that they don't need, but it works for them. I've never been able to have that. I'm always doubting. So like, yeah, I've needed like I never could be that. So it was being able to work through those things. It was the only way I survived 20 plus years of commission only sales, and I'm still trying to survive that lifestyle of business in 20, commission only sales. It's it's not for the faint of heart. It's not easy. I think Gary Vee has really done a great job of explaining that too. They business. I was one of those people, and I don't know why at a young age, like Gary Vee talks about. I mean, when I was a teenager, there wasn't people like Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, these business people, Donald Trump being president, and these things. Business people were hidden people that they were different to most people, or at least to society in a way, and they were just hidden creating these businesses. But it wasn't this kind of, hey, you need to start a business. And now it's, hey, you need to start a business. But I think, like you said, Coach, there's so many. Hey, start this business, start that business, start this, and none of them really work. But nobody's really finding that out, and everybody's learning the hard way. And
Yeah. There's a lot of charlatans out there. It really is. And if you just go on any social media feed and you'll just get bombarded with it. This program for this program for that, and some of them may be legit, but a lot of them are not. And so you just have to be really careful and be really clear on who you are and what your true purpose is and what you're living toward, and then chart a course there. Don't Make sure it's your dream that you're following and not somebody else's.
yes, exactly. Oh man, Coach, this is so great catching
Yeah.
up.
Well,
That
so
video.
you're talking about we're talking about the kids being persistent. My daughter was next level. So my son, he would be a little sneaky, and so he might find ways to nefariously get what he wanted. But my daughter, she was on it. And so when she showed up with the computer and the presentation ready to go, you get ready because she's going to sell you on why she should be allowed to do the thing that we had told her she's not allowed to do. So she would come up with presentations like 6 reasons I should be allowed to go on the trip with Allison or whatever it was. And she would,
But I'm telling you, see, so for somebody like me, and again, I know there's half of our audience is probably like me, otherwise you can't stand me. But somebody like me, that wins me over right away. You came with a punch list. Okay, what are you selling? I'm sold already. Like you took the extra step in the initiative already, and a lot of people don't do that. I mean, listen, guys. Let me
it
tell
made it
you,
hard to say. It makes it hard to say no to an 8-year-old that's bringing a presentation to sell you on why she should be allowed to do something.
oh my goodness! Well, and listen, there's even coaches that do that to present themselves on why not to still be a coach of the Browns. Did you ever hear that story?
Oh yeah, and I wish I hadn't said Browns. It made me think about Watson going down again. What a
Uh,
nightmare.
the Cleveland curse continues. Yeah, Cleveland
Yeah,
curse continues.
every time we drift into sports, we go way offline. But I can't help it. That was such a big part of my life growing up. It's
Yeah.
hard to get away from it.
Me too. I have the same. Yeah, I agree. I definitely don't have enough time to focus enough on it like I used to. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
sports is
I used to know every stat inside and out of every sport, and now I have to Google it. So it has changed a little bit.
yeah, exactly. But yes, yeah, I can't believe Watson. That whole deal is what unbelievable. And they're and
Only
they're and they're, and
only
they're
playing
playing and they're playing lights out. I mean, how did they pull off that win against Baltimore? I don't even know how they did it. I thought they were done from the first play. A pick
yeah.
six first play. I thought game was over. And
I turned it away. I didn't even. It was only a couple of games on, and that was one. I was like, well, that's not interesting. I'm not watching that. I went and did something else.
I had a friend. Shout out to fantasy league at home, but we're in a fantasy league together, and he said, "Okay, I'm done. I'm not wasting enough of my Sunday. I'm not wasting any more of my Sunday watching this." And I was like, I think I thumbs upped it because I was almost there. I did hang out. My mom made me a diehard Browns fan. Shout out, mom. But yeah, I'm a diehard Browns fan. I'll watch even if they're being destroyed by 42 until the end. Maybe there's a miracle. You never know. Again, belief that if there's still time on the clock, there's still a chance. Okay, it's not like baseball. Okay, but there's still a chance. There's still a chance.
Ugh, see, and now I'm thinking about Ernest Biner and all the almost
Oh,
chances.
uh, the bubble, the
Bernie
bubble.
Kosar, the years. Oh yeah,
That was my childhood. That was my childhood. The blacked out games. Now we're totally off subject, but blacked out games for kids that don't know. If anybody's younger listening to this, there was blacked out games then. We couldn't even. My mom taking three kids to the bar to sit in the corner because she didn't drink, but just to watch the Browns game because that was the only place to watch it. That's what made me a diehard fan, and listening a lot on the radio. Y'all don't
I
know what
think
that's like neither, but
so. I think one of the reasons that we're as diehard as we are about it was because back when we were around like that, every game wasn't on. It
yeah,
was special to get to see a game. It
you
was not it wasn't expected. It was something that was really special. And now it's just, I'll watch it if I want to. I can watch the replay, or I can see every great play on Twitter or X or whatever we're going to call it now. And so it's not the same. It doesn't. And then the players
it's not.
change all the time. It's just not the same.
You're you're right.
Get out of my yard. I'm the old
You're
man.
you're right, honestly. But I think even back then, though, pay wasn't the same either. But I think we're back to Roman times and the chariots and keeping
A little
everybody
bit.
busy.
A little bit, and there's, I don't know, more and more of me is starting to wonder how rigged it really is. I didn't just say that, did
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Now we're totally getting banned. If we weren't getting banned already, we're getting banned now.
There's some awfully questionable ending to games that just happen to fall right into the Vegas little little spot where it needs to fall. So
Listen,
I'm just saying.
listen, and again, we'll finish it with this, Coach. We're not telling you to believe that or think that idea, but what we're telling you is to be curious enough, like a kid, childish curiosity, and question that critically.
Curiosity, excitement, faith, yeah, all of those, yeah.
Curiosity, excitement, faith, and trust, y'all. Be like a kid, follow those four. That is what it takes. That's really all that it takes. And then believe in whatever you're doing. If you're not doing, again, we're Thursday, coming to Friday. If you are like most, Friday, yay, we get the weekend. And then Monday, you start all over again. And you're thinking, oh, I don't want to be Monday. I don't look forward to Monday. You're probably not doing the right thing or chasing the right mission. Talk to us. I'll help you get out of your way. I promise. That's what we want to do. We just want to help you get out of your way. Because this game of life is you versus you. If we can help you be curious enough, what is your greatness? What is your calling? What is it inside of you that's making you want more? Because I think anybody who's listening to stuff like this, fair to say that, Coach, anybody who is watching our podcast or anybody else's, they want more. Like there's something that they're searching for. Like there's something that's telling them they want more. I mean, that's why I listen
Yeah.
to the
Yep.
stuff. I constantly want more. I will never believe. And again, just I guess a mental note for anybody. This was my trigger or mental note that I really figured out. Besides being here, I don't know if I still have the pictures, but we'll share those if I do. But besides the visual of that, and that's Coop, but that's also me with looks like 3 watermelons,
Yeah,
and
it's like 3 of you.
and that's me. But besides obviously the visual notes, mental note for everybody. If you feel like you don't need to learn more, you're not learning more, that's probably the time that you do need to learn more. You should be finding that, or you're just hitting that rut, that circle that you're going to feel like there's more. If that feels like it's you, please reach out. We do want to, if it's just talking to us deeper about some crazy vision, some crazy idea, I'll make you believe it. I promise. And then maybe you'll believe it enough. You want to go after it too, and that's really all we want. We want
Yeah,
everybody to know that they have something special inside of them. They do have a greater purpose. They have some gift. I
yeah, we
truly believe that everybody is born with a gift.
yep,
I don't
and
think everybody's
w
using it.
w once you start living and growing into that purpose, I'll say it again, that's where happiness is. It's knowing your purpose and then growing and living into it. That's the key.
Isn't it crazy? I think, and when people share their story, I've listened to so many people's journeys now, successful people after they've reached this or after they've reached that, or even through the process. It seems like most of them, if not all, hit some peak of wealth or some gap financially, but not the other stuff. But once they actually figured out what their purpose was and not the other thing, that was when they sometimes or mostly ended up either it's maybe not as financially well off, but way happier. I I think.
Yeah.
I mean, is that uh, odd?
Yeah, I don't think so at all, because it's determining what's really important, because so many times what we do as entrepreneurs is we get into this and the business becomes us. We become the business. You can't separate, and you forget that business is a tool to live the life that you want to live. And so what I obviously try to help people do as a coach, and what we do together is we try to help people say, okay, this is the life I really want to live. What are the strategies that'll get me there? And there's so many different businesses and franchise opportunities and things that could be the strategy to get you to that life you want to lead. It's just determining what is it you really want out of life. And then let's go make that happen, and instead of just taking what happens to come or what's right in front of me, because the world will create the life for you.
They'll give you a job. They'll
They'll
for
give
sure
you a
give
job.
you.
Yeah.
Might not
Yeah.
be what you want,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
and
and
again,
just
that's
just enough to make you keep coming back all the time, and
yeah.
not change a whole lot. Yeah,
But again, that's where I think, and not everybody. I think there's lots of people happy in what they're doing, and if you are, I'm not talking to you, but you're probably also not listening to this stuff. If you are listening and reaching out and finding and listening to podcasts like this, there's something inside you wanting more, and we really do just want to help you find whatever that is,
yeah,
whatever
and
it may
and
be.
and part of what you said right there, DJ, is why I always go back to getting to know yourself better, because it's not for everybody.
No, no,
It's not for everybody, but there is still a better path for everybody, because
agreed.
there's probably a company out there whose values and culture you align with a lot better than where you are if you're unhappy where you are. Um, it's not always that. It could just be that where you are, you need to change how you look at things. So it very well might be you, but
I'm glad.
unless you know you and know your values and how to align those, you're gonna have a tough time being happy anywhere.
I'm glad you went there, coach. I think in the end, besides discipline, obviously is key and persistence, you said, but it's being self-aware. It's truly being fully self-aware. And Gary Vee nailed it with, and you just really triggered it back to my brain of what I was watching with Gary Vee. But he said, when you're self-aware, maybe you're a number two, and really good number twos in a company, it's a big company, make a lot of money. So maybe you don't need to own a business, but just there's a passion or a purpose, and just the right company or opportunity somewhere else that you're not aligned to. It might just be something like that. I don't think everybody, like you said, it's not for everybody to lead a company, run a company, or be a visionary of a company is not for everybody. But
No,
there is a
through the years.
position for everybody with happiness to find their happiness.
Yeah, well, and through the years, what I've learned about myself is I like helping people achieve what they want to achieve, and so I've helped a lot of folks do some really big things. And at one point, John Hewitt, he asked me, because you've helped a lot of folks do these things. Do you feel like you've properly monetized the help that you've given through the years? And the answer is probably not. But I'm incredibly happy that of what we did together, and I'm incredibly happy for their success. And so for me, it aligns perfectly with my values. So I'm okay being kind of behind the scenes, the support guy. And when I need to be on stage and be the front guy, I'm pretty happy there too,
Yeah. Oh
but
yeah, if I believe it, make me the front guy. I'll tell everybody about
yeah, yeah.
it.
But you hit it right there. You said, determine where you should be. Where can you provide the biggest value, and if it's the right place, that's where you'll be the happiest, and the compensation will be the best. Is where
I,
can you bring the most value?
I agree. I agree, Coach. And we'll end on that because that was perfectly said, and it goes right into our ending song, another Andy Grammer song. Got to give a shout out. Thank you again for the amazing music, the amazing lyrics. But this,
And a letter giving us the thumbs up would be great.
yes, please. I actually did try to reach out to him on
Yeah, I
on
remember.
Instagram, just so you know. Like, hey, I am using this just in case. But yeah, I really this ending song nails with what you said, and so I love that. And I think you have the same bug that I have. That's what I figured out too. Like, I'm not come up with my own baby, but if you have a baby you believe in, man, tell me, because I'm gonna help. I'll help you make that baby become whatever you want it to be, and the bigger the better for me. So I figured that out too, and that's with this song. That's why it was chosen as the ending song and the lyrics. I'm addicted to the magic. Like you, it's not the financial payoff at the end. It's more the journey of it and the excitement of the whole growing the baby thing. Then I realized that Maggie knows that I'm addicted to business. I'm never this is never
Yeah.
something. Like
Yeah, I
I
tell a lot
just
of people that I'm in the business of business.
yeah.
I love business. I mean, I can sit and watch or listen or read and be perfectly happy about business and strategy and all the different things. So yeah, we're in the business of business. I like that.
Yes, yes, sir. We are in the business of business, y'all. And so again, remember the Robinhood Capitalists. If you did like this, like and subscribe if you're seeing this on one of our YouTube channels, either the Robinhood Capitalists or Summit Mentorship.
Yeah,
And
yeah, mentorship.
but again, thank you everybody for following, and for all the shares and likes and comments. It really is. I love doing this just because it helps me with talking to Coach. Gives me some free coaching live with all of you, and so I use it as a double-edged sword. If you guys didn't know, he really is a mentor. I do look up to a lot of what he says. His experience is amazing. What he's done with John and Liberty and that stuff, and obviously everybody how they talk highly of him. So it's an honor to obviously be able to do this with you. But
Just a dude, man. Just a dude.
I hear you. Very good, dude. And again, everybody, till next week. We do have some great guests coming up. We have some exciting things coming up here at the Robinhood Capitalists. And again, thank you, everybody. So remember, feed the good wolf. Enjoy your weekend. Hug your loved ones, and pay attention to them kids. Give them some love.
Yeah, and we'll see you Tuesday.
I'm always on the red eye. This time around, it's not even about getting paid. I'm just an addict for the moment when the magic is made. And when you walk while the world